Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Gargoyles episode reviews. We're going to be reading this episode, and it's the same thing that's on the blog, so you can go there and read it yourself, or you can listen to me as I read it for you, so you can drive or do something more interesting. So, without further ado, Gargoyles Awakening, Part 1, episode review continued. If you missed Part 1, then go check that out. Remember, sections marked 2020 moments are meta comments. Don't read them if you don't want spoilers. That's a little bit different when I'm reading it because you are not going to be able to skip those. I guess just plug your ears for a couple seconds or hit the fast forward button. I don't know. If you're watching this, you've probably seen the show anyway, so it's not exactly a trouble moment for you. Back to the show. All right, first off, we start out with a picture of the Great Hall, and you've got all the people. You've got Magus there on the right, you've got the captain, Princess Catherine, and Goliath, and Demona are, of course, striding in. Now, there's a dog eating something on the floor, because, yes, this is accurate. I think there's straw on the floor, too, as there would have been back in the day. So, very good. Right, the dog is okay. The gargoyles are beasts, though. Okay, that's the caption. All right. Big Purple and his second in command just crashed the victory party at the castle. It's their victory, but the humans didn't invite them. In other Disney productions, this would lead to curses on babies and the destruction of spinning wheels. The princess looked freaked when the gargoyles stride in. The captain has invited them. She says she is allowed, quote, beasts in the dining hall, unquote. Ouch. Gargoyles rank lower than the dogs eat the scraps from the dining hall tables. Magus, her advisor, is pissed off too. He's white-haired but young, verging on anime but shonen territory. He's voiced by Jeff Bennett, demigod of voice acting. Pretty much everybody is voiced by Jeff Bennett in every show, ever. If you doubt me, go check his IMDb profile. It's astonishing. Magus calls the gargoyles unnatural. Now, I'm really curious about them. The lead gargoyles halt before Princess Racist. Goliath spreads his wings, then capes them over his shoulders and bows. It is a really cool scene. Go watch it. The captain congratulates Goliath and cites the biblical David and Goliath as the name's source. Ooh, foreshadowing. Got a picture of him bowing? Take a bow, you've saved the whole castle. That'd be worth some hefty experience points if Dungeon Master didn't have a bigger plan. Princess and Magus send them packing. Apparently the gargoyles are outside gargoyles, not to be allowed in the Great Hall even after they saved everyone's butts. Princess relegates Captain to reporting to Magus rather than her. Captain is apologetic to Goliath. Goliath is accepting. This gives us a picture of Goliath's character. He may look like a beast, but he's more civilized and has more humanity than the humans. He's second in command is less accepting. Have you no pride? Even after Goliath's, quote, humans fear what they don't understand, explanation. In the morning, Magus has his nose in a spell book. The gargoyles are stone. Again. A writer is heading out to make a deal with Hakon. Is it Magus? It doesn't have his build, but it could always be a servant or a minion. That night, the captain is trying to get Goliath to take the gargoyles from the castle. They can hunt down the Vikings far, far away. The second in command Garg supports him. And we have a little picture. It's Goliath's hand. It's wrapped in a bandage, the one that got cut by the sword. It shows that stone sleep allows the gargoyles to regenerate somewhat. Goliath says that he can scare the invaders away, quote, without any help. He sounds darkly pleased at that idea. Is it just me, or could he make a really good villain if pushed over that thin hero line? 2020 moment. That means spoilers. You get a little Thalog vibe here. He's looking forward to the thrill of power that comes with scaring humans. Yet, 2 seconds later, he comes down on the trio for doing the same thing. Then again, different situations, maybe. He asks his second, also his lover, to stay and protect the castle. Even when he is gone, he says that, quote, we are one, now and forever. Both the second in command and Cap look downcast at the turn of events. We're sensing a disturbance in the force. And we've got a picture of them. I'm surprised they don't overrule the absent Goliath and send all the gargoyles from the castle, even given what happens next. Meanwhile, the three Gargs we met earlier, Squirrel Boy, Beaky, and Patrick, are having an exchange of cultural traditions with a blonde kid named Tom. He asks their names. They don't have any. What do you call each other? Friend. Aw, let's all join hands and sing Kumbaya and buy the world a Coke. So, in general conversation, what do they call a gargoyle who isn't present? If Beaky and Patrick are talking about Squirrel Boy, did they say, I talked to friend today? Which friend would that be? Odds are they'll say something like a little bald green one. It's a good attempt at differentiating gargoyles from humans, though. It's a way of showing us that Garg ways are not human ways. Cultural sharing breaks down when Tom's mom drags him off and calls the Gargs monsters. The trio responds with the time-honored, highly effective technique used by all successful protesters to prove their innocence. They act exactly like their stereotype. Goliath discovers them and the dog thing terrorizing the refugees, with the second command looking on. And there we've got a picture of them doing that, and it says white eye glow equals male. So female gargoyles' eyes glow red, and the guys, or males, glow white. Goliath sends the teens, and the trio is teenagers, by the way, to the rookery despite his girlfriend's attempt support of their actions. The rookery is where the Gargs keep their eggs. They look like giant speckled Easter eggs. So are the gargoyles reptilian? No, they've got some hair, and I'm guessing they're like platypuses or platypi. Some even have beaks. Like that red beaky one. 2020 moment. Spoilers. The choice of the writers to save the trio via the rookery is genius. We get to see how gargoyles reproduce, their kinship to reptiles, and the future of the clan. This seed grows into a Douglas fir tree later. The writers add more weight to it with the next step by having the clan ask Xanatos about the rookery. We think it's destroyed since Xanatos says it wasn't there. Leaving his lover, and by the way, I should clarify that the eggs weren't there. I don't know if he was able to actually find the rookery or not, because we know later that there is still some caves underneath. Anyway, leaving his lover, who is the clan's strongest warrior besides Goliath. Ooh, foreshadowing. To guard the castle, Goliath flies off with the old, brown, bearded Garg. Greybeard is a better tracker than the young punks. Back at the castle, someone with long mustaches is sabotaging the bowstrings. Soon Goliath and the old mentor realize they're following decoys. The main force has moved to attack the castle. For such a great tracker, Greybeard missed the fact that the army of Vikings with siege weapons would leave a giant trail. Instead, the trail is from about 4 to 10 that he admits are lightly carrying armored men. Light for carrying armored men. Cannot read. One thing this series does well is animate horses. They are darn hard to get right, as Greg Weisman points out. Goliath and the old guy try to reach the castle, but the sun rises. They turn to stone as the sun strikes them. That is one heck of a weakness. Explain how the species has survived so long. I guess they didn't have many predators. And there's a picture of them in their stone sleep. So close yet so far. Stop and look at how beautiful this artwork is. It really is. Hammer time. Actually, they aren't surviving very well. The Vikings attacked. The sabotage bowstring snapped. An outsider opened the portcullis, and now the invaders are destroying the sitting Gargs. It's sledgehammer time. And this really is a sad scene. Turns out the captain, not Magus, made a deal with Hakon, betraying the castle to him if the Vikings leave gargoyles in peace. Hakon will leave them in pieces instead, as he double-crosses Cap right back, wiping out the gargoyle clan. While Hakon destroys the gargoyles, Cap looks on in horror. This is a nice reversal. It's showing the series isn't taking you down obvious paths. And we've got a picture of Goliath turning to stone. It's one of the best shots of how gargoyles turn to stone. I wish they told us here about why the captain and the guard was so willing to give up the castle and side with the gargoyles. Yes, he saw them be taken for granted and treated poorly, but that's not enough to make a person turn on an entire community. Did he believe he'd be the new lord with only gargoyles around? He doesn't seem the type. His change of heart is semi-explained. He's shared a kinship with the gargoyles, considering them his kind. It's not just due to his looks, either. I think he feels misunderstood, and as such, he sympathizes with fellow outcasts. The gargoyles are also great warriors, as is he. So there's that bond between fighters. And we've got a nice, beautiful picture of the castle wyvern in the sunsets, and the people are being let out. Thanks to the betrayal, the castle is in good shape. So, they didn't burn anything, they didn't really destroy anything with their catapults. And we've got also a picture of Hakon threatening to mace the captain in the face, and I don't mean with pepper spray. It says, "May the flames of your burning bridges light your way." Alright, we got a villain antagonist freeze frame for Hakon. He's pragmatic. He has no further use for the captain, so he tosses him aside. The gargoyles pose a major threat once the sun sets, unlike almost all villains and 100% of American animated series villains. He doesn't dangle them over an acid bath or shark tank. Hakon just plain kills him. Wow. Slow down there, everybody. This is not your little sister's cartoon. This is verging on anime. We met some of these gargoyles, or at least saw them, while they were in flesh and blood. Now we're watching them get put through a wood chipper. Do they feel pain in the stone form? Disney, are you aware you just showed us a slaughter? This would never clear today's sissy standards and policies. The writers don't treat the destruction lightly either. They show the horror on the captain's face as Hakon destroys one. The clan's annihilation will directly be Goliath's motivation for episodes to come. It will indirectly influence him for the whole series. The writers understood that we young viewers could handle it. We understood these gargoyles were dying. Yes, it was like watching blood and gore, but in a way that was worse. And you've got a picture here of Hakon's shadow, actually, with the mace. And he's destroying gargoyles as the captain looks on in shock. So this is an amazing shot. You see Captain's horror while you watch Hakon pulverize a gargoyle. These creatures were totally powerless. They had zero chance. Goliath returns to find the castle in flaming ruins. Piles of stone chunks are all that remain of his friends and his family. Imagine if you came home and you found all your people torn apart. The passion in his voice and his face as he scoops up the handful of what appears to be remains of his lover is heartbreaking. And as he says, "My angel of the night." And he throws up his wings and in sorrow. And so Goliath's heart is shattered. To be continued. The worst words ever when you have to sit and wait a whole week for the next episode. Final thoughts. What an amazing pilot episode. Awakening does everything a first episode or first chapter should do. Hook the audience, introduce the protagonist and antagonist, establish a compelling need for the protagonist, and throw a barrel of monkeys into the gears of normalcy. There is no reason a sane person would want to stop watching at this point. Next, on Gargoyles. Gargoyles attacking the Vikings. You turned them to stone forever? Red and Black Chopper. David Xanatos watching Goliath awakening. Combat troops attacking the castle. Another Chopper. And Elisa Maza saying, "I don't know, but I'm going to find out. Will she ever?" By the way, that's that little trailer, I guess you might call it, that they play at the end of the episode. The opening rolls, but without Gargoyles' trademark narration. Here's where the nostalgia really kicks in. There's the Dark Ages Gargoyles. There's Xanatos and his wicked cool chopper on the way to the Eerie building. There's views from the castle in the clouds. There's Elisa Maza falling off a disintegrating castle tower. Then Goliath exploding from his stone skin. All the while, we're treated to the stirring strains of Gargoyles' theme. And you're humming it right now, aren't you? Also, next episode, we meet Xanatos and Owen. Yes. You can read the part 1 if you missed it. Watch the video, and of course leave comments here or on the page, and like, subscribe, do all the things. All right, we'll catch you in the next episode, and thank you so much for watching.